Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 25th of January, comes to you from London. And the dollar had a terrible day yesterday. We see here on the weekly chart that candle showing up, and yesterday's big move there on the daily chart. And we just see it was just an ascent down all through the day. Bit of a recovery this morning, but really a very small bounce indeed. So dollar just continuing to look very weak, and a real change of sentiment there. Euro looking stronger against the dollar, of course, at euro dollar touching 124.50 this morning. So we've really seen that strengthen the euro. Japanese yen also strong against the dollar. Remember, this chart's inverted, so this is the dollar falling away against the yen, and sterling looking very strong again against the dollar at its Brexit levels. When the Brexit vote occurred, we see that big candle there on the weekly chart, just powering ahead, 142.62. Looking at the euro sterling rate, we're seeing sterling climbing against the euro, so sterling is looking very strong in the short term. It's the Swiss franc, it's transitioned. Interestingly, we still have work to do for sterling to get through on the euro chart there on the long term, but the medium term chart is breaking out. Against the Swiss franc, we're seeing that move as well, and against the Australian dollar, work to do here as well, but strengthening all the time at 176, 177. Bitcoin had a bit of a wobble yesterday. It was below the cloud most of the day. It has come back into short-term bullish territory, with this medium-term chart looking more and more worrying. So a really hard call at the moment, but volatility persists. The US market continued to rise. The S&P up yesterday. Nasdaq was down a little bit on the day, but looking strong still. The Dow Jones also looking pretty strong. In fact, the Nasdaq 100, a little bit of an engulfing candle there yesterday, so maybe signs of just a short end to this run, so just keep an eye out on that. The Dow still looking pretty strong, as we said, and the Russell 2000 sold off a little bit yesterday, and again a little bit of an engulfing candle, but nothing too much to read into that. We see we've had these candles before, so the market's still looking pretty strong. The future, the S&P future down very slightly this morning, and the Nasdaq E-mini up very slightly, so no real heads up there as to what's happening today at the open. FTSE 100 continues to fall on that strong pound, looking very weak short term. And the FTSE 250 also below the cloud, looking weak short term as well. The DAX not as weak on that strong euro, still holding up above the cloud, but is selling off quite a bit this morning. So we are just seeing that down 1.4%. And the Nikkei just coming back again on that stronger yen against the dollar. Hang Seng continues to rise, and the Shanghai market, although it was down, still looks pretty strong indeed. And the same is true of the Indian market. Most Asian markets off about 1/3%. And we look at the Australian market, it's just still bearish below the cloud. Brent now very much through the $70 level. We've got targets now into the high 70s on the medium term chart. The 72 target was given quite some time ago. So Brent crude rising there, the weaker dollar helping, of course, and WTI also rising. So we are just seeing the oil price moving quite higher, and the US Natgas price holding that gain. So that really big jump in US Natgas prices, we're bullish on all three time frames. Copper now back above the cloud, looking more bullish. And if we go to gold, gold had a massive jump yesterday, really significant, because it's activated this new upside target. So we now have 3 long-term upside targets. 3 targets gives us much higher conviction, very clear support here, and more importantly, there was a downside target back here that was deactivated with this move yesterday. So it's taken a bearish target off the 1% chart and put a new one on. So looking pretty good. We've exceeded these targets short term, which is bullish, but no clear new targets. So we'll have to wait for probably a pullback, which we're starting to see, and then another move up. But we are making new 15 months highs and really nudging multi-year highs, 3-4 year highs. We see silver breaking as well, so that's looking strong. The chart on silver not looking as bullish as gold on the long-term chart, but medium term we do have an upside target of about 20%. US Treasury yield sitting at 2.64%, so still holding that bullish position. Apple fell back through the cloud yesterday, so Apple looking a bit weak now in the short term. Google still looking pretty strong. Amazon also looking strong. Facebook struggled to get through this 190 level, but still looking pretty strong. And Microsoft also holding its trend, looking really strong, almost doubled in price now over the last year and a half. So really very strong showing there as well. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.